Welcome to Messier Mantra. I'm your host, Mike Messier, and today we have a very special guest. He's a good friend of mine. He's a writer. He's an actor. His name is Jose Guns Alves. Welcome to the show, Jose.
Thank you very much, Mike, for having me. Appreciate it.
And let's start with your name. Now, you don't have to give your birth name.
That's fine.
But Jose Guns Alves, to me it's interesting, and we've talked about it in our friendship. Why Jose Guns Alves?
Well, being Cape Verdean, and I don't mind sharing my last name, my family last name is Gonsalves, Gonsalves.
Yes.
Kind of flows off the tongue, Gonsalves. But here, there's not that many people that are familiar that aren't Cape Verdean or Portuguese descent.
Yes.
So it ends up being turned into something that sounds Mexican or Puerto Rican, Gonzalez, you know, all kind of different variations. And when somebody tries to write my name, it has Z's in it and all kind of different letters that aren't in my name.
Correct.
So, in an effort as I became a little bit more serious as an actor and saying, this is what I want to do with my life and I want to take it as far as I can possibly go. And along with that means, at this level, having to market yourself.
Yes.
Brand yourself, create a brand, and market yourself as a product. I came up with, after speaking with some people that were assisting me with managing the beginnings of my career, a way to differentiate myself. So if somebody heard of me and wanted to look up, you know, who I am on the internet, an easier, simpler spelling of just dividing up my name into Guns, G-U-N-S, and then Alves, differentiates me from 1.5 million other Jose Gonsalves in Pawtucket and Fall River, New Bedford area. So
I experienced that with even my name, Mike Messier. Mark Messier is a famous hockey player. And I would team with Wayne Gretzky. They won 3 or 4 championships with the Oilers. And as a footnote, Gretzky never won without Messier. But Messier won a championship without Gretzky with the New York Rangers. So just putting that out there. But Mark Messier is so famous, or his name is in the canon of names of celebrities, sports figures anyway, that a lot of people say, oh, Mark Messier, Mark Messier. Even the other day, somebody called me Mark, someone that's known me for a while. I didn't even correct them. You know what I mean? So Jose Guns Alves is catchy, and it's, like you said, branding. Now, for the audience members that don't know about branding, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So when you, there's a thing called type. What's your type? I'm referring to an actor. And type is, as soon as you look at somebody, what's the first thing that jumps off the top of your mind? When people see me, because I like to lift weights, I have a certain look to my face, they see tough guy, either the haunted hero with the good heart, or the what I call the sexy villain. Or, you know, kind of thuggish, kind of, not thug like street thug, but more of a physical person. Very strong characters. Those are the type of characters. That's my type.
Yes.
So my name and branding, not only just separating myself from the other Jose Gonsalves that are out there in the world, it also brands me further because we all know of a famous actor, Vin Diesel. I think he's got a cool name, right? That's not why I picked my name, but his name, he's an action hero, basically. And that's the type of films that he does.
Yes.
His name, Vin Diesel, kind of forwards and markets his brand a little bit more, especially when he was just coming up and nobody really knew who he was. A name like Vin Diesel just sounds actiony and somebody who's dangerous.
Diesel's power.
He's kind of a bigger guy too.
Right.
So with my name, Jose Gonsalves, it's funny. The first thing that a lot of people say, guns like your arms are guns. And it's like, well, I work out, but that's not the reason why I picked guns. It's actually because my name is Gonsalves.
Yes.
And that's the way it's, when you say it, it's Jose Gonsalves. It sounds like guns. All I did was separate the two.
The names.
And then put a U instead of an O. And that's it. But it sounds kind of, you know, physical, like tough guyish. Which is cool. That's my brand. Strong, tough brand.
Now, the interesting thing, the good thing, is that you do lift weights for the biceps, triceps, forearms, etc. If you didn't, if you were,
it'd be a problem.
If you were the 90-pound weakling in the back of the comic book
Yeah.
from Archie Comics 1980 something.
Getting kicked in the face.
Yeah, right. Then we'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
So now you and I, we're pretty good friends. We've known each other for 2-3 years. And we recently had an experience, thanks to our mutual friend David Gear and Tommy DiNucci. They asked us to come down to Connecticut and play mobsters, armed men. For Tommy DiNucci's role as Seth in the film Blue Line.
Yes.
Which has Tom Sizemore, very exciting, and Kevin Nash, Big Daddy Cool, ironically also known as Diesel, the wrestler.
Oh.
And what's cool about what you and I were able to do is even in a, you know, you don't say big roles, small roles, but, you know, let's say a few minutes of screen time, a cameo, if you will.
Yes.
We were able to get in the mix. And that's one thing I've always respected about you since I know you. You're not afraid to get in the mix.
No.
Whether it's with this one, that one, the other one, this one. Why get in the mix?
Well, you can't, though you may want to grow to a certain level as an actor, as an entertainer, you can never, and all my best acting coaches always say, there's no such thing as a small role.
Right.
You know, whether it's 2 minutes of screen time or 2 hours of screen time, it doesn't make a difference. You give your best performance or whatever it is. Now, I'm not saying necessarily to anybody who wants to be an actor, rush out and go be an extra on everything that you can.
Right.
But a role like that is a little bit different. So I think it's important to get in the mix.
Yeah.
You meet people. You see how things are done. You get to make contacts and network, as well as you're learning a lot about yourself. Because with every role, no matter how large or small the role is, there's a little different part of yourself that you have to bring to that role. And you have to find that piece of yourself and bring it to the character. You're never bringing the character, in my philosophy. You don't bring the character to you.
Right.
You bring yourself to the character. And that's what makes every character unique. I was just watching Fences,
Okay.
Great play that was done on Broadway. And James Earl Jones did the role in 1987. And then Denzel Washington did it, performed it in 2010. Both were riveting performances, very intense, powerful performances, but very different because each actor brought to the role themselves.
Right.
And each of those two individuals are very different, though they can both play strong, tough characters, which Denzel and younger James Earl Jones, and even the older James Earl Jones can play. They're very different.
Yes.
And those nuances, those very many nuances, created very different likenesses in those characters, which is very interesting to see. So, you know, you get a chance to be in the mix and do something that's a little different, or sometimes it means stepping up. I mean, you're going to be at one level, you want to go to the next level. Well, you know, if I'm doing all lead roles at the current level I'm at and I want to go to the next level, it doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to book lead roles immediately. Right. I might have to go for, you know, a lesser role.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me because at least I'm getting my toe into the water, you know, my foot into the pool, so to speak, and just, you know, breaching a pathway into that next level.
Big fish in the small pond becoming the proverbial medium-sized fish in the bigger pond.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And then you build yourself up, you eat some fish food or
Correct.
other fish.
Right. Well, you prove yourself.
Yeah.
You prove yourself. People see, you know, first of all, they see, wow, this is a trustworthy guy. He said he'd show up.
And here
he did
is.
show up. That's cool. And he's not a jerk on the set.
Yes.
He's easy to work with. He's not a loudmouth. He's not hounding the big stars that are on the set, following people around. He's just sticking to himself. He's listening. He's helpful. And he's taking direction well.
Yeah.
So you prove yourself on that level. And then the next time around, they might have a role for you with a couple lines. Do your best with that. And then you prove that, wow, he can act too. He's, you know, he's not just a look. He can also perform. So each step up, you have to prove yourself a little bit more. And then till finally you reach that level where you're getting the lead roles on whatever platform that you want to be on, whether it's Broadway or major motion picture. You just have to work yourself way up, work your way up.
Yeah, because what you said is the right way to do things. And I have, you know, I'll be honest, I have friends, people that I even really enjoy their company and respect their work as actors, and they're pulling the Andy Kaufman shtick. You know, they're like, I'm going to be a renegade, I'm going to slip on a banana peel and get myself noticed. And it's frustrating for me as someone who's looking out for other actors as an acting coach and my own movie director as an independent front to have the ability to know that someone's talented, get there acting like a clown. And maybe the time and place for that was the late 70s with your Andy Kaufman, with your Lenny Bruce, you know, guys that really changed the game. But the game's been changed. Yeah. You know, and this is going back maybe retro where people need to be respectful of the business like you and I both are and say, you know, showing up to set and being goofy or mouthing off or, you know, on a set recently I was on, an extra, you know, someone who's a background actor, no big deal, but they presented a pitch. I'm not sure if it was a script, but they pitched the lead actor in the movie. Oh, wow. For their own story. Not a good idea, because the lead actor of this movie is trying to concentrate on the here and now, focusing on the role. And this guy who's got a small background role or whatever is, hey, I got something for you. You know? So that actor, that background actor, promptly was addressed by the producer of the film, one of the producers, and advocated. Oh, thrown out. Away. That's that. Yeah. Yeah, that's that. So you and I don't do that type of thing. No. Let's talk about, if you want, if you don't have to, but your personal background. Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Exeter, Rhode Island. Well, the first 70, well, it's a little bit complicated. So I was born in Germany. My father was in the Air Force. So I was about maybe 1 year old when we moved from Frankfurt, Germany, back to the United States. My mother is from North Providence. My father's from East Providence. They met, got married. He was stationed overseas. My mom got pregnant after being married. Went to meet my father. Had me out there. They lived there for about another year or so. We came back here, moved to Providence. I was in the Oneyville neighborhoods of Providence, kind of a nicer section. This was back in the mid-'70s. And things started to get bad in the area. Yeah. My parents started to get nervous, like, you know, me and my little brother, when we grow up, we're going to start hanging out with the wrong people. Yes. And they grew up, North Providence, I don't know if you know this, in East Providence, back in the day, my parents' day, used to be woods. Oh, okay. So they were, and they had a great upbringing. They really enjoyed growing up in the atmosphere that they did. So they wanted to provide the same type of atmosphere for me and my brother. So they looked throughout Rhode Island for somewhere that had that same type of vibe or feel. Right. They found Exeter. So we moved to Exeter, Rhode Island when I was 7 years old. And for me and my brother, it sucked. Okay, not much to do? Well, the closest neighbor was maybe a quarter of a mile away. Oh, geez. And so it wasn't like a neighborhood that, you know, with a bunch of kids running around, riding bikes and skateboarding and stuff. It was me on, you know, surrounded by acres of woods, and me and my little brother, just, you know, playing soccer, throwing footballs, baseballs, swinging off trees, jumping. One-on-one basketball. And that was it, you know. Right. So this opportunity to develop my imagination a lot. Yeah. Playing on my own, creating my own little games, you know, running through the woods, imagining things. Right. Or chasing me, and my brother, you know, he would have fun with me doing these type of things, building clubhouses and stuff. It's about a year and a half. Oh, okay, so you're still pretty close to age. Yeah, which is good. He lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee now, Bruce. But yeah, so at first it kind of stunk. Yes. And then going to school, I got to high school, and then you get your license. Oh yeah. Things tend to not suck as much anymore because now I can drive around. Right. So, so it was a lot of partying and hanging out and having fun with people from different areas, which was cool. But and then getting to college and coming to Rhode Island College, and so that's my basic background. Where'd you study at Rick? Because I went to Rhode Island College for creative writing. Okay, excellent. You know, I studied basically basket weaving. I was a business communications major, and I had a minor in philosophy. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Right. I was always good at public speaking all the way through high school when I had to do presentations. Yeah. And you know, I thought, well, you know, there's a degree that you can be a public speaker. And at one point in my life, I thought about being some kind of a civil rights activist. Okay. So public speaking would be a big part of it, I thought. Right. So that's what led me towards the business communications degree. Nice. How did we go from there into the acting world? Well, I actually had done acting when I was at St. Teresa School in Oneyville, which is no longer standing. They knocked the building down. But I just like any little kid, acting in middle school. But it was pretty cool because the first play I auditioned for, I got the role as the lead role as the gingerbread man.
Okay.
In the school play.
Nice.
So it was like 8th graders and 5th graders and kindergartners, and they picked me to play the gingerbread man,
nice.
Which was cool. So great enthusiasm from the crowd that really liked what I did.
Yeah.
And I liked that feeling. You
Yes.
know, so I guess all actors are looking for some kind of affirmation or
sure, validation.
Validation, and I got that. I started getting that when I was a little kid. And I continued acting, getting lead roles throughout middle school and high school. And then I started foray into professional theater. Nice. I did Theater by the Sea. I did a couple shows there, Evita. Okay. And then I played Prince Chulalongkorn, which was, I had actual lines. And I was acting alongside off-Broadway actors. They'd bring actors from New York City. Okay. And they would stay out there for the summertime. Yeah. They had like a campus there for them, and they would do the shows. They had the cabaret at night after the shows. Yes. And that was my thing, but I was starting to blossom athletically too. Okay. And at that point in my adolescence, athletics took over. So okay. I went towards sports and got away from the acting thing. But maybe, well, I was a avid soccer player. I used to play. I actually made it to the Junior Olympics Region 1 team in back in '86. 80-something. Yeah. 86. And then I did track and field. Did very well there. Set a lot of records, school records and stuff. And then I did it also at Rhode Island College and played some semi-pro football. Interesting. And about 4 years ago, a friend of mine I was working with part-time, Maya Osborne. Yes. She lives in L.A. now. Hi, Maya. If she ever sees this. She might. She asked me one day, she said, Jose, I'm doing this little, it's a 48-hour film thing, and I need somebody that kind of looks like you, do you want to, give it a shot? She had no idea that I did any acting. Right. And it had been years since I did any acting. I was like, what kind of a character is this? She said, well, you're a retired NFL football player who kind of takes care of his family. Okay. And some things are happening, and that's who the character is. I was like, yeah, sure. Well, that sounds like fun. I'll do it. So I did it, and I got bit again by the acting bug. Yeah. And since then, it just got more and more serious. Over the next 6 months to a year, I just kept auditioning for things, and I was getting everything that I was auditioning for at that point. They say, I sold some insurance for a while, they say you never become a true insurance agent until you deliver your first death check. Okay. Well, I kind of feel the same thing about being an actor. All right. You're never really an actor until you've heard your first no. Wow. Audition. That's good. So I was getting all these yeses, and I was, not my head was getting blown up or anything. Right. But your confidence and your ego is feeling good, which is a good thing to have. Sure. This is a very rough business. Not conceit, but confidence is good to have. Yes. And I auditioned for something, and I got the call, and they said, we're going to go in a different direction. Oh. We don't think. But it was the greatest thing that happened for me because it was a signal, there's a lot more that you need to learn. Right. Now, it doesn't mean that I necessarily blew the audition or I was terrible. Sure. Maybe I just wasn't the right look, or they wanted somebody younger, bigger, smaller, taller, shorter, whatever it is. Yeah, who knows? But for me, I took it as, there's a lot to learn in this. And I started furthering my study of acting and taking more and more workshops, courses, reading books, studying film, reading screenplays, that type of thing, doing exercises and all that type of thing. And so for the past 3 years, I've been just going at it as hard as I can. Feverishly. Feverishly, yes. You won an award for a piece that a good friend of both of ours did, Nick Cacciari. Was it called Love and Laundry Soap? Love and Laundry Soap, yes. That was a good piece. And, yeah, that was that was a pretty fun little. It's funny because I was just commenting on something like this today. Actors often want to do the pieces that have them ripping their hair out, yelling and crying, and they're doing all this kind of like very dramatic stuff. And often, the most powerful performances are born of, sometimes it's the beginning of the scene, or it's a scene that's very calm or subdued, but there's a lot going on. And an actor with true talent can show his skill in scenes like that.
Right.
You know, everybody wants to gravitate towards the, you know, the big yelling contests and the emotional cry fests.
Yeah.
But the most powerful scenes sometimes, and powerful acting comes from the scenes that seem very low key.
Mellow. At times, or human.
Yeah.
Is part of the word.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is, towards the very end of the show, we're going to show your acting reel. It's about 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Give people a taste of what you're up to. Before we get to that, the name of the show is Messier Mantra.
Yes.
Now, every guest has a mantra and something they live by, something they breathe by, whether it's for career or life or both. Jose, do you have a mantra you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes. I don't know if I have it in a succinct mantra,
go ahead.
But it's a basic philosophy that I tend to live by. And it was something that when I was playing football, my coach at North Kingston High School, Keith Kenyon, he said to us, and I bought into it immediately, and you often hear of it in many different ways, in different facets of life, people that are trying or pushing hard for something. And it's basically, it's like this. If you're going to do something, what's the point in doing it if you're not going to give 110% of yourself to it? And I try to tell this to my kids and to anybody else that I'm around. Like, if there's something that you want, something you enjoy, you know, why would you kind of just halfway do it?
Yeah.
Do it with every cell in your body. Give it all you've got. And then you'll really see the true measure of where you belong, of your talent.
Yes.
There's always room for improvement. But you're never going to improve if you're only going halfway.
Yeah.
If you're not giving your all at it. So that's my basic kind of mantra or philosophy.
And it's hard because from my perspective in the film business, you have so many big ideas, you know, whether it's me, you, the next guy, the next lady. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And it's almost like a machine gun, but you're not, with a bow and arrow, you can focus and hit that bullseye.
Yes.
With a machine gun approach, you might hit something,
yeah, but
are you going to hit the bullseye?
Yeah.
Little metaphor.
Exactly. I like that. I like that. Well, that's a good one.
Yeah. So right now, I think we're going to talk about one more thing, and that's where do you want to go from here? What's next?
Well, other than a project that is close to my heart, Avalon.
Yes, we'll talk about that on the next show because you're going to come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There were a couple of the things that I was cast in that I need to fulfill my obligations and do my very best with. And but my focus now is not to audition really for anything in the area here.
Okay.
I really want to push to the next level. I've been told by a few acting coaches. First of all, I feel in my own heart that it's time. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next level. I'm not saying I'm the best.
Right.
But I'm ready where I can wade into the water with the other actors and have the same basic, you know, experience and same talent level with these other actors. And I've been told by a couple acting coaches, a couple people that have been very successful that you need to be in New York or LA. What are you doing here?
Right.
You're, you know, no disrespect to anything that happens in this area. Indie, smaller projects are fine. It's great to cut your teeth on, or if you're more of a creative person,
right,
for putting that together, because that's where you stake your name, you stake your claim. But as an actor, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to see something like that and say, that guy's the next Robert De Niro.
Right.
And snatch you up and bring you to wherever, Hollywood or wherever the big
You've
hotspot is.
got to go to the game.
Exactly.
That's New York City. Speaking of which, we have to go to your reel right now.
Okay.
It's about a minute, 2 minutes long. So I want to wrap up the show, but guess what?
Yeah.
You're coming back for another show.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Excellent.
Jose Gonzalez. Right now on Messier Mantra, we're going to take a look at Jose Gonzalez acting reel, and we'll see Jose and myself on the next Messier Mantra. Thank you for watching.
And you'll see just how close I am. And Mrs. Turner may not have been your first victim. She will be your last.
Messier.
I can get called in at any time. You know this. Time is not our friend. When it won't die. Give me your gun, Damien.
Sir?
Give me your gun!
But you know, I think that's the way it should be, right? If the decision to walk out on your kids was an easy one to make, I think you'd have to stop and take a long, hard look in the mirror at yourself and reevaluate your priorities.
Well, I'm sorry if I didn't want this beautiful meal that I've worked on all day to be ruined by your aversion to alcohol.
Don't exaggerate, Dad. You did not work all day on this meal.
Well, yes, I did. Have you ever made osso buco? No, you haven't. You've never cooked a day in your life. It takes at least 4 or 5 hours to make it properly.
And to the families of the loved ones that were taken away by this infamous killer, I promise you this. They will never, ever be forgotten.